Swapnil, it's a big, significant day. And you know, MR made an interesting point, Swapnil. He said the opposition had to eat crow because the opposition said, आप इसको वापस ही नहीं ला सकते. Now, at least a beginning has been made by our agency, Swapnil, and because you don the hat of a lawyer, you very well know that everything, Swapnil, hinges on evidence.
Deepti, this is a great day, Suesha. It's a fantastic moment for all of us because it proves victory not only for the BJP government. That is something which obviously, will be taking at the end of the political spectrum. But as far as the rule of law is concerned, what I am most happy about is that our investigating agencies have been able to prove fraud and money laundering and tampering of witnesses and intimidation of witnesses to a foreign court. That means they have done their job so damn meticulously that even a foreign court's prima facie judgments, which paved the way then for, of course, prima facie observations, which paved the way for the extradition itself, shows to me that the rule of law is robust in this country, and the country which ruled us and from which we've inherited significant portions of the legal system, or in fact, should I say, a bureaucracy as far as some of the aspects of the legal system is concerned, is something which they are recognizing today, and we are a force to reckon with. But one hitch is there, Deepti. Just as we won in case with Vijay Mallya, and of course we succeeded in the High Court there as well. But we still have not seen him land on Indian shores, so we still will have to wait, I think, at least for a year till we see actually Nirav Modi here on this soil. But the other good points about this judgment is that it's going to pave the way, Deepti, for and Suesha, for Antigua, Mehul Choksi also. So, these sort of precedents establish that people cannot loot and plunder this country and scoot and hide somewhere in complete oblivion, and they will be caught. The long arm of the law will eventually reach, and the political might of India will be eventually tell upon these fugitives that if they can hide there. And as far as the opposition is concerned, as MR pointed out, that I don't consider those comments. Most of the comments from the opposition are unfortunately infantile. They don't even merit any debate, in my opinion. As we are seeing in the past few days, some comments made about North versus South, etc. So I don't even want to comment on that. It's a complete waste of time.
Oh yes, Shravan, I want you to be there because there's one important question about Mehul Choksi that we'll get answers from Shravan. But I think he's just moved out of the frame. He's trying to get us more live updates. Let me say good evening to two more guests joining us on the broadcast. Kapil Sankla is an advocate of the Supreme Court, and Subhash Jha is also an advocate on the broadcast from Mumbai, along with Swapnil. So very good evening to all of you gentlemen. To you, Mr. Kapil, how do you look at what has happened in the case so far? This has been a battle that went on for 2 years. Plus, this is a man who cocked a snook at the government, who cocked a snook at the establishment. He cited everything, sir, from poor jail conditions to human rights to, political patronage to whatnot. But everything, Kapil, has been demolished in the UK court.
You're absolutely right. You see, I've been a lawyer for more than 2 decades, and I've represented the government of India in various international arbitrations and cases. And there is one thing that has always shamed me, that there has been no concrete thrust when it comes to international litigation. I mean, the government has been sleeping in a number of matters that we have seen in past, and the entire strategy has been shameful. I see that changing. I see that India has a very aggressive front. The strategy is very clear. The goal is very, very clear. And that is why we are getting the kind of victories that we are getting now. I mean, it's a proud movement today because the strategy has been so perfect. I mean, the defense has brought in these cases, these arguments pertaining to civil dispute, pertaining to ill-advised lending, saying that, there is deteriorating mental health and capacity, and therefore he cannot be extradited in terms of Section 91. But all of that has been destroyed, and that shows in the order of the Westminster magistrate. And that's a fantastic thing. And this is a huge battle because we know that India is a tier 2 country when it comes to extradition, and therefore a prima facie case has to be met. When a request is sent by the government, it goes to the secretary. The secretary then sees whether it is a fit case to send it to the magistrate, and then sends it to the Westminster magistrate, as has been done in this case. And then the magistrate looks at the entire case and sees whether notionally this case, if was filed or fought in UK, would it come under the laws which govern there? And we as a country have similar laws And therefore, under the circumstances, all those prima facie evidences and legal requirements and objections have been met. But the battle is not over yet. Because now the magistrate, after the order, is going to send that order back to the secretary. The secretary is now going to check that order and test it in terms of the Extradition Act, whether there is any political embargo, whether there is death penalty, etc., etc., etc. And of course, there is also a right to appeal to the High Court. But having said that, what has happened today?
Yes,
is
Kapil, I want Mr. Subhash Jha to push that point further. All three of you are learned men of the law. And it's important, I think, because this is all about law. It's about legalities. It's about evidence, Mr. Subhash, that has been put forward before the UK court. Now, I today want to understand that if this fugitive called Nirav Modi, Mr. Jha, does decide to appeal, first of all, I want to know from you whether you think that he should appeal, considering the kind of evidence. Because what possibly could have worked in a Vijay Mallya case is not working here. Connivance has been proved with the bank officials. There is witness tampering, witness intimidation. Everything has been spoken of.